Hi there, welcome into a very special Saturday playoff round 2 edition of the OUA Basketball Show. My name is Griffin Porter. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I don't blame you because there's a lot of good matchups. You're going to want to hear someone talking about them. That's what I'm here for. We've also got a big guest here, so let's get right into the matchups because I want to get into our guest as well. We've got the women's matchups to go through first. We're going to start with the game today, Saturday afternoon at 2 p.m., Guelph versus McMaster. Call me crazy. I know it's a hot take, but I've got last week's guest, Sarah Gates. She's my player to watch in this one. Of course, the Guelph Griffins were down at the half against the Lions last week, but they had a strong second half to take that win with Natalie Vigna scoring 25 points, and she's going to need to be at her best for the Griffins in this one. McMaster, of course, the number one offense in Ontario, led by the province's leading scorer. Guelph's really going to need to shore up on D and have a couple of star performances if they want to hang with the Marauders. And then next up, we've got at 7 p.m. tonight, the Badgers playing the formidable Queens Gales. Brock surviving a tough scrap with Windsor in that first round. Kaylee DeMont hitting a big three-pointer with less than 10 seconds to go. Brock wins the game by 3, so big shout out to Kaylee for that one. And Brock is in for another tough one tonight against a Queens team that had that great record this year. They shoot the highest three-point percentage in Ontario. They have the highest field goal percentage in Ontario. They got the second most assists per game in Ontario. It's going to be a tough test for Brock's defense because if you take one thing away, there's 3 other ways that the Gales can burn you on any given possession. And we know they rebound very well with Julia Chadwick. So, yeah, a lot to handle for Brock tonight. But Queens, I'm picking them in that one. But I think Brock can hang in there. 8 p.m. in Waterloo, we've got what's sure to be a great game as the GGs head far to the west for them to take on the Warriors. Ottawa, of course, had that dominant round 1 win against Laurentian. They won by 49. Every single thing clicking in that game, offense and defense, which brings us to a really interesting matchup against Waterloo. Now, these are 2 teams that get it done on defense. The GGs allow the lowest points per game in Ontario. The Warriors the 3rd lowest. Waterloo the best rebounding team in Ontario. Ottawa's 3rd. So it's going to be a tight battle. They say defense wins championships. That's what both of these teams are relying on. I'm going to be interested to see if playing that extra game on Wednesday helps the GGs by giving them some momentum. Of course, they scored 101 points. Or if it hurts them by putting a little bit of extra wear and tear on. That's 40 extra minutes on those legs at the end of the season, so that'll be interesting to see. And finally, we were jumping around the schedule a bit, but we're ending with, I think, the must-watch matchup of tonight at 6 p.m. TMU heading to the Ravens' Nest to play Carleton. Folks, this one is going to be good. The Mustangs ran into the Bold in the first round and were smothered defensively. TMU holding Western to just 26% shooting in that first round victory. So the Ravens are going to need OUA assist leader Callie Pockernick, hint, hint, stay tuned, to get that ball moving and break down that Bold defense. Another thing TMU did against Western was dominate the offensive glass, which was a big key to their win. So the Ravens are going to be looking to their star rookie, Jacqueline Urban, to take care of business in that regard. Of course, she was 3rd in the OUA in rebounding this year and set a Carleton school record for rebounds in a season. So the battle on the glass is going to play a big part in this one. But let's not hesitate any longer to talk to us about her season and that upcoming playoff matchup and much more. And joining me on the show here, the point guard, team leader for the Carleton Ravens this season on their fantastic year, Callie Pockernick. Thank you so much for coming on our round 2 preview for the OUA Basketball Show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we go way back, Callie. When I was finishing my studies at Carleton and covering the team, you were in your first year, and now we have seen this team really adapt. It's certainly a very different roster from when I was there just a few years ago. You guys have a different coach now, so I wanted to start with sort of a look at the past, not as far back as when I was there, but last year you guys went 10-4 and were certainly a good team, and then you lost some really good players over the summer to graduation. And then this year you guys have come out and you're 19-3. You're currently ranked number 3 in all of Canada. If you could circle something that would be responsible for this leap from that you've made from last year to this year. Is there one thing that you could maybe put a finger on?
I would just say the girls that we have now, returning and new players, we just have a crazy compete level.
Mm.
We bring it every day in practice, and it's just a whole different atmosphere now. And with Danny also with us coaching and leading us, it's just amazing. I think it's just the compete level, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you certainly have been very competitive this year. I'm going to switch up the order of my questions a bit since you did bring up Coach Sinclair. When I first knew you, you guys had a different coach, but you've had a couple years with Coach Sinclair now. What does she bring to the program? You spoke there a bit about the compete level. Like now that you've had a couple years to play under her and get to know her, what does she bring to you guys?
She brings a lot of fire and just compassion and oh, sorry, not compassion, just a lot of passion and fire.
Probably some
She has a
compassion
lot of
as
heart,
well, right?
compassion, everything, yeah, but like mostly just that like passion aspect. She cares so much about us and just about competing, like I said. She always just wants us to do our best and pushes us to be our best always, and that really shows in our games and our practices every day.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, certainly when you watch your games, it's always a bit of a it's nice you can really see her passion coming through. I will put it that way during the games,
Yeah,
uh, which is
and
great
she
to
just
see from
cares,
a
like I
coach.
said, so much. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So you guys obviously have had a fantastic year this year. As I said, 19-3. There was a stretch of over 2 months where you did not lose a single game, and of course there was the winter break in there as well. But it sounds more impressive when I just say stretch of 2 months where you did not lose a single game. What kind of run? What does that kind of run do for a team's mentality when you're winning on such a long win streak?
For us, it just made us more, I think, driven, but also kind of panicked. Like we know people are coming out and wanting to beat us,
Hmm.
mostly in those cases where we had a huge run and we were doing really well. So every game, we just really need to prepare and respect every team we were playing and know that they're coming in wanting to beat us and wanting to be tougher than us.
For sure. Do you think it could be a little dangerous? Not to obviously winning games is good, but like I've always sort of been worried about, especially sometimes covering Carleton teams, like forgetting how to lose. If that makes any sense, do you put any subscription in my theory, or am I completely off base?
Um, I get what you're saying. For us, I don't think we were ever really afraid of losing. I just think it wasn't really an option for us. That's how our mentality kind of was.
That's, I think, great. So if they're like, obviously, we now know you're going to be playing TMU in the playoffs. It's a tough matchup. Not afraid of any adversity there.
It's
That's I.
definitely going to be a tough game. I mean, we saw them in January. That's when we last played them, and there's always a little rivalry going on. Like last year too. That's how our season ended, playing them in the
Mhm.
playoffs. So there's a lot of definitely fire and just we're really excited for it. So it's gonna be a tough one. TMU is definitely a tough team and a really talented team. So
Yeah, and I know they're saying the exact same thing over there. Now, of course, we've talked a lot about the team, and it's a great team, and it deserves a lot of chat. But we got to get into your personal season as well. You've really taken yet another step forward. You led the OUA in assists this year, and of course, everyone loves an assist leader. It's my favorite type of player to watch. So, what do you like if you have the ball in your hands and you're looking to make a play? You're the OUA assist leader. What are you looking for when you're on the court?
for me, mainly I'm trying to draw as many defenders as I can so I can kick out to one of my teammates. We have a lot of great shooters on my team, so I'm always looking for them on the outside. So personally, my goal, like I said, is just to draw and kick as much as possible and get ball movement to get the best shot.
Yeah, fantastic. And of course, defenders are right to respect the fact that you might shoot because you've taken way more shots this year than you have any other season. You've taken 62 more threes than you ever have in an OUA year
Oh my God.
before, and 176 more field goal attempts overall than you ever had before. So first off,
Wow.
yeah, how are the legs? Are they still in there? That's a lot more
There's
jumping.
Yeah, I got a little more push to go. Yeah, I'm good for now.
Oh, good. All right, that's good to know.
Got a little more in the engine.
Yeah, that this would be a bad time to run out. But is
Oh yeah.
that a note from the coaching staff that they wanted you to be more aggressive this year? As we said, you guys lost some good scorers to graduation this summer. So was that something that you took on yourself, or was it a combination?
I would say a combination, but more so my coach is giving me that green light and wanting me to take those shots. I'm more of a veteran player on the team now, since, like you said, the
Hmm.
graduates have gone. So I do have more of a bigger role than I did last year. So I definitely um, am pushed to take more of those shots for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, so far it's been a winning recipe over there in Ottawa. Callie, I'm going to let you go, but thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you.
Let's move over to the men's side because we got four more great games to break down, starting with the TMU Bold heading to Ottawa. The women are going to Ottawa to play Carleton. The men are going to Ottawa to play the GGs. TMU coming off a big win over McMaster in the first round where David Walker gave them 29 points off the bench. Aaron Rooms chipping in an 18-point, 11 rebound double-double. The competition only gets tougher from here for the Bold. Now, when you're watching this game, make sure to keep a hand on your wallet because these teams love to pick pockets. They're number 1 and 2 in the province in steals per game. The Bold are going to have to work hard to get their individual numbers up to the heights they were at against McMaster because this Ottawa GG's team is stifling on defense, folks. They were the only team in Ontario to allow less than 70 points per game this season, and they hit that mark comfortably. They only allowed 67 points per game. That's how they win, and if anyone has figured out a key to solving that Ottawa defense, they should share it with the rest of the province because no one's been able to crack it all the way just quite yet. The Bold offense is really going to have to be firing on all cylinders in this one. Now let's move on because this is already a long episode. We got the playoff debut this year of the Windsor Lancers as they take on the Guelph Griffins. Guelph pulled off the upset over Lakehead in the first round. What a great game that was. But of course, if you watch the show regularly, you know I loved watching the Thunderwolves. They were a great team. Now they're trying to take out another one of my favorite teams to watch in Windsor. So Guelph just trying to ruin the playoffs for me altogether. I'm joking, of course. There's a lot of stuff I really like to watch about this Guelph team, but I'm really intrigued to watch the Lancers. I've been buying Lancers stock all season, folks. If you've been watching the show, you know that. I think the Griffins are in for a tough matchup on this one. I like Windsor in that. Wilfrid Laurier pulling off the 3-point win over U of T in the first round, the narrow victory, and their reward is a red-hot Carleton Ravens team, led, of course, by Aidan Warnholtz. The Ravens had their mid-season speed wobble that had some people asking some questions. There aren't as many recognizable faces besides Aiden and his backcourt mate Connor Vreeken. Like, it was a lot of turnover. Grant Shepard playing as well, of course. But ever since those couple losses in the middle of the year, they beat Ottawa and Queens on successive weekends, and they really haven't looked back since. Carleton scores 82 points per game and allows 71. I think that's a pretty good recipe for success if you can do that. Now, Laurier defensively does a really good job of taking away the three. Carleton loves the three. They are tops in Ontario in three-point percentage. So look for the game to be at least partially decided at the Ravens three-point line if the Golden Hawks can get out and bother some of those shooters. And finally, we got the Queens Gales heading down to St. Catharines to take on the Badgers. Brock has had a really strong year. They won the Central Division with a 16-6 record. They had a really strong points differential as well. However, despite being like the technical underdogs, Queens actually had a better regular season record than Brock did, and we all know what those Gales are capable of. I really think that if Queens didn't play in the West with Ottawa and Carleton, we could be looking at a 19 or a 20 win team. So this is two fantastic squads going head to head. I'm really excited to see how this one plays out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please enjoy the games. It's going to be a fantastic Saturday. We are going to be back before the next round. We're coming at you in between every single round, so make sure to keep it tuned in right here to the OUA on YouTube. And thanks for watching. My name's Griffin Porter. This has been the OUA Basketball Show.